Well, hello and welcome to the DCL podcast. I'm your host, Steve Creasy, inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, hello and welcome to episode 4 of the DCL podcast. Sorry I got this out a little bit late, but I want to wish you and your family a happy holidays, and I hope you enjoy this quick episode where my wife joins me to talk about our latest trip to Disneyland. At the beginning of the holiday season here this past November and on into early December. So sit back, relax, and we will be on our way shortly. Enjoy the show. So welcome to the show, Anawake.
Hello.
Kind of strange talking to my wife on this show. But
a little bit odd.
Yeah. Anyways, so this will be kind of fun. We'll just do a quick show for everybody. And I do want to apologize that I didn't get this out to everybody sooner. I was hoping to get it out a week ago, but Christmas kind of sneaks up on you. Well, it doesn't really sneak up on you, but there's just so much stuff to do around it that kind of between that and work kind of threw me for a loop. But we went to Disneyland this year, November 29th to December 3rd, and I thought maybe you had a good point, Anawake, as to why we like to go then, and I thought maybe you just start with that.
So we've been actually the last 4 years that week after Thanksgiving, and initially it started because our kids had some time off of school that week, and as the years have gone on, it's kind of become more of a good time to go because the crowds in the parks are low, and we definitely love all of the holiday decorations as well. It's just the holiday magic plus the Disneyland magic makes for a great time to be there. But the thing that we really enjoy about going that week is that the crowds are very low. And so for our family, we've gotten accustomed to where a 25-minute wait for any ride is just really too long, and we'll come back later when the line is shorter. And so we haven't ever really had to experience any 45-minute, 90-minute, however long lines with 4, 5, 6-year-old, our youngest over the years. But really, one of the for me personally, one of the best things is that our lives are so scheduled that being able to be in the parks when the crowds are low gives us the ability to just kind of move around on a whim. Like if our kids decide they want to go over and ride whatever, we can make it all the way across the park to make that happen. We don't have to plan and schedule and do our vacation like we do our regular lives. So that's kind of a benefit, just really as a personal benefit to us. And so it's to be there when the crowds are low it's really kind of amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that kind of encompassed why we go every year at that time, plus the holiday decorations as well. So I thought that was a good point to start it off with. And just to talk a little bit about the logistics. So we flew in this time to LAX instead of Orange County. And for those of you who haven't been to Disneyland, Orange County is much closer. It's a smaller airport, and it's a lot easier to manage than going into LAX. We would have rather flown into Orange County, but just the way the schedule worked, we flew into LA. From both of them, you can catch Gray Line runs a shuttle that you can catch that takes you straight to the Disneyland hotels. If you're staying on property there, one of the 3 Disneyland hotels, they stop there first, and then after that they have several other stops that they stop at with some of the local hotels. And you can catch that at either Disneyland or, you can catch it at Disneyland to take it back to the airports, but you can definitely catch it at LAX or Orange County. It's probably the more expensive of the two. If you do a super shuttle, that's probably a little bit cheaper than taking the Gray Line bus. But we've liked the Gray Line bus just because our youngest is still smaller, and he would have to have a car seat if we brought him with the super shuttles, and being on the bus, it's just one less thing we have to bring with. So yeah, definitely that's worked.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, that's worked well for us. So we took that, and it takes about maybe an hour or so to go from LAX versus 20 minutes from Orange County. You don't have to, with the Gray Line, get reservations ahead of time. You can if you'd like, and if anybody's interested, just go to Gray Line Disneyland shuttle. Just Google that, and it'll come up. Make sure it's the official Gray Line site, because there's a couple other pseudo sites that offer transportation, but it's not the Gray Line shuttle, which we enjoyed because they also show movies. So during that hour-long drive-through traffic that we had, they were they show movies, so it kind of keeps the kids' interest, so they're not quite so bored.
So they also then don't have to listen to their mom saying, and then I lived right up there, and then I went here.
Exactly.
Reliving my own childhood with them.
Right, which is a good point. Anna White grew up in Southern California, so she went to Disneyland quite a bit when she was younger, which is part of the reason we've, I guess, become Disney fans again, too.
Exactly. No, it's good to share your own childhood memories with your kids. That's a cool deal.
Right. So anyways, bottom line, LAX further, Orange County closer. If you can find Orange County, it's a lot easier than going into LAX. But this time we went into and out of LAX, and it worked fine. And for our stay, we kind of had been wanting to do this for a long time, and so we had the opportunity this time to actually stay at the Grand Californian. So what were your impressions of the Grand Californian, Wake?
I really love the property there. The hotel is just amazing. It definitely feels like a wilderness lodge, and the lobby is amazing. Just it's absolutely beautiful, and the Christmas tree is beautiful, and they have a little hot cocoa stand, and they have carolers, and they have Santa, and a place with cartoons for the kids. It's just a really comfortable place to just hang out and spend some time, and we really enjoyed it. So even the years that we haven't stayed at the Grand Californian, we've managed to spend some time in the lobby there, because it's definitely worth making the trip, even if you're not staying in one of the rooms there.
Oh, definitely, it is pretty amazing, and probably one of the biggest reasons why we wanted to stay there, along with the fact that it's located right next to Disney California Adventure. Well, I mean, it's close to both parks, but it has a separate entrance into DCA, which is helpful.
It was very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, the location makes it a perfect place to stay, but it also pushes up the price point. I guess I wanted to throw out there. So last year we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, and just comparing the two properties. I mean, they're both amazing properties. They both have, I would say the Disneyland Hotel pool is a little bit nicer. They've got a couple bigger water slides for the kids. But the Grand California pool complex is pretty nice too. And then just looking at the rooms, between the two rooms, we had a queen size bed and bunk beds, which the kids loved the bunk beds. So
that was a big hit.
Yeah,
sure.
So they switched out back and forth, getting to sleep on top. And we had a balcony which looked out over the pool area, which was really nice. But overall, the rooms at the Disneyland Hotel bigger than the Grand Californian.
Yeah.
And I guess just the room itself, I think I preferred the Disneyland Hotel room better. But location, having the lobby, and having the at least I got up in the morning and sat outside and drank some coffee and looked out over the pool. Having the balcony was really nice too. So overall, I think that I like the Grand Californian better, but room-wise, I think I like the Disneyland Hotel, the actual rooms, better.
Yeah, I would agree with that, too.
Okay, so that's where we stayed, and had a little bit of Disney magic while we were there, and I'll let you explain that one, Anna.
One of the first nights we were there, we were, our boys and I were standing in line to get hot chocolate, and the boys had a little encounter with just, I guess, what I thought was them just being their normal selves, with the person who was working at the little hot cocoa stand, and then we walked away, and there had been a group of Disney employees sort of standing near the hot cocoa stand, and as we walked away, one of them followed after us and brought us a beautiful gingerbread house that was a replica of the Grand Californian, and said, you should have this, thanks for being here. And our kids were just amazed because they had been sort of looking at them, and that's not the kind of thing that we wanted to cart home. So we probably wouldn't have actually purchased it, but it was really cool, and it was amazing that they just gave it to us, and we did manage to cart it home, and it sat on our table for Christmas, and it was beautiful, and they got to tell everybody their story that someone at Disney had given this to them, and it was pretty cool. It made for a super special memory for them. So
Yeah, definitely. You don't really get those kinds of things all the time.
anywhere else,
Yeah, elsewhere where you go. And it seems like every time we've done something or gone, whether it's on DCL, the cruise line, or in the parks, somebody within the cast members always reaches out and does something kind of magical, and it's different every time. And I think that, I mean, I'll put it out there. That's why we keep going back. That's one of the main reasons
absolutely
we keep going back.
Yeah, the special moments definitely make the trip. Make the experience, make the trip into an experience. I guess that's that's a way to say it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where we stayed this time at the Grand Californian. And instead of doing, like I said, a blow by blow, I thought we'd just talk about a couple different topics as to why we like going there and whatnot. So we kind of touched on why we like to go right after Thanksgiving due to the low crowds, but also one of the things that I think we both love and our kids love, although they've said now twice that we need to go when it's not the holidays. We want to see what it looks like when it's not decorated for Christmas. But I mean, for me, I think it's a great way for our family to kick off the holidays. You kind of go through all of Thanksgiving and a little bit of the chaos there, and you're getting ready for Christmas, and it kind of gives you a chance to go down and relax and not be responsible for anything, and just take in like kind of the essence of the holidays with the parks decorated as they are. So what are some of your memories or favorite things about the holiday decorations that are down there at Disneyland?
Go ahead.
We talked about the lobby and the carolers, which is just amazing, and seeing Santa down there. But what are some other things that you like?
I really like the castle being decorated for Christmas. That it looks like that there's icicles and snow, and I really like It's a Small World decorated for Christmas. And I think that's actually probably one of the funnier ones that our kids are like, "What do you mean? It doesn't ever sing It's a Small World." So
they've never really actually heard the Small World song.
They have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
So it's at Christmas time. It sings Christmas songs. But we really like Cars Land at Christmas. We like the just the snow and the garlands that they have, and it's really just all of the decorations make a super nice holiday feel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Cars Land is amazing, where they've got it all decorated up. And the other thing that I think Disney does so well is the music that they play, and you don't even really notice it. But Cars Land, definitely, like the music selection that they pick as you're kind of wandering around through the Cars Land area just totally fits that era.
Absolutely.
And that feel.
Yeah.
Like jingle bell, jingle, and don't. Yeah, I cannot sing, so.
He's not going to quit his day job.
No, exactly. But play the Jingle Bell Rock song while you're walking down Cars Land and seeing Mater with his Christmas hat on. It just definitely, I don't know, it just somehow fits. It's just like the perfect songs that they find for it. Is some of the small decorations that you see. I saw one, and I took a picture of it. I wish I could try and figure out maybe how to put some of these in the show notes. But one of the pictures, walking through the area by. Oh man, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Not Condor Flats anymore, but what's the other water ride that's not Splash Mountain? That's in
the Grizzly Mountain.
Grizzly Mountain River Run. Just each one of the lands, the little decorations that they had on the light poles were just incredible because they were all decorated kind of with the theme of whatever land you're in, whether the boardwalk area or over in Cars Land or Bugs Land or whatnot. So. Yeah, just those small little things kind of stand out too. One of the things I really love is the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay that they have at the Haunted Mansion. And I think this has been talked quite a bit, but seeing Jack Skellington and kind of that whole mishmash of Christmas and Halloween, it somehow just kind of fits together. It's two of my favorite holidays, so that's... I would say
the Christmas version of the Haunted Mansion is probably the only reason that we managed to get our 6-year-old to ride it, is because we could tell him it was Christmas instead of just haunted. So,
exactly, which is funny because he's like the wild man that's on California Screaming as soon as he can, but
but overactive imagination and in the dark, and
it makes it a little tough for him.
Right.
So let's see. You talked about the snow on the castle, which is always amazing at night, and then. Really like New Orleans Square and Main Street, how they decorate those two areas up as well. So those are probably kind of my favorite things at Christmas time: the music, the decorations, and just kind of the overall feel.
Right, exactly.
So let's talk about Small World quick, because we got a fun experience there too. So if you want to explain what happened on Awake.
So we actually met up with some friends who were also in town and decided we were going to ride on a ride together. And so we stood in line and we did, we all boarded our boat for It's a Small World and headed off and got about halfway through and realized, well, actually, before we even started, they had some trouble getting our boat going. They had to pull us with the hooks, and that probably should have been our first clue, I guess. So we got about halfway through, and then the two families that were in the boat with us, that we didn't know, all of a sudden one of the women says that she's been pulling our boat along, that we haven't actually really been moving for quite some time. And then we round a corner, and there's a whole lineup of boats through one of the sections, and we are sort of in between sections in the ride, and we're stopped. And then we wait, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and then pretty soon they turned the music off, and we waited, and then pretty soon there were some cast members around, and they were trying to figure out how to evacuate all of us, and they were telling us that the ride is 51 years old, and she's a bit temperamental, and also that we all needed to stay in our boats because you can't, when you're not in between the areas, there isn't really a ledge for people to climb out of their boats. So so we were one of the lucky ones that we were sitting where there was a ledge. So we evacuated, and we got to go kind of back through the back way, excuse me, It's a Small World, and got to see where they store the boats, and we got to walk under the water channel, and which actually was really cool.
Yeah, it was kind of neat to see the
to see all of that stuff. I mean, it's kind of, it's definitely not clean and pristine in the back in the back room, which was also kind of fun to be able to see. So walked through the whole back way, and then out kind of back behind the ride, and the afternoon running of the Christmas parade was just finishing, so we got to see some of those, like the floats and the big gingerbread men from the Christmas parade walking back into the warehouse where they wait for the evening version of the Christmas parade.
Right.
And I mean, those are the kind of things that, I mean, I think with any travel experience, that sometimes the disasters or the things that don't go right are kind of what make the experience. And it's the super good things, like, someone giving our kids the gingerbread house, and then it's the things that don't go right, like getting stuck on It's a Small World. And for our kids, since we've been back, the two stories that they've told about their trip are the gingerbread house and getting stuck on, as they call it now, the Small World of Disappointment.
Yeah, they will definitely be talking about that for years, I'm sure.
Right, exactly. So no, it was yeah, I definitely would say it was, it's not something you want to plan on, but it was kind of a cool experience.
So any other favorite things about being in the parks at Christmas time that you can think of before we talk about where we ate?
Oh, yeah. So I guess a couple of things that I do, that we didn't actually do a couple of them this year, but that I really enjoy are the evening parades in both Disneyland and California Adventure. They're definitely worth a viewing. I think they're really well done, and the kids enjoyed it. And I mean, definitely for the Disneyland one, you need to be prepared to sit and wait for a little bit, and maybe bring a blanket with you for that occasion, because the concrete, even though it's warm Southern California, the concrete at night is a little bit chilly, and coats are never quite big enough. So a blanket to sit on for the parades would be a good deal. In California Adventure, there's the crowds are smaller, so it didn't seem we could kind of just find a spot right as it was starting. But those are both definitely worth taking the time to plan into your day. We really enjoy the fireworks that they do at Disneyland at the end of the night. It really is, Disney definitely does a good job of bringing out that emotion of the holidays, and just in general, and families and time with your kids, and it's definitely worth stopping and taking a look at the end of your day. Also, I guess our older son Andrew and I, we our little guy, he can go hard for quite some time, and then he just shuts down. So we had all planned to do the World of Color in California Adventure this year, and our little guy just said, "Nope, I have to go to bed." So this year, our older son Andrew and I went back to the park and saw the World of Color, and it was definitely worth fighting the crowds, and because that was a crowded experience. They put you in you have to get your fast pass, and they put you into certain areas, and to make sure that you get a good view, you do need to be there earlier than we knew that you had to be there. But we could definitely see it, and it was certainly worth making the effort to go see.
Yeah,
so I highly recommend all of those evening activities.
That's a good point. You can get a fast pass for World of Color, and they do go out pretty quickly, and you get that over by Grizzly River Rapids. They hand those out in the morning, so you don't have to rush over there immediately or anything like that, but probably the best thing to do is, if you're wanting to go see that, to get the fast pass, is just sometime fairly early in the morning, just kind of wander back through there, and you'll be able to pick one up.
And you can have the fast pass for World of Color and fast passes for other rides. It doesn't
correct
preclude you from getting it for other ones. So
right.
That's good to know.
Right. So, but you guys really enjoyed that show, didn't you?
We did. We really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure what I'd think of it or how. I mean, you kind of have a general idea of what a fireworks show is going to be like, and a general idea of what a parade's going to be like, but I wasn't really sure what to expect. And you could see the workings of the show during the day, it's all underneath the lagoon at the Paradise Pier. So yeah, we weren't really sure what to expect, but it was amazing. It was amazing how it was done and what was done, and we both really enjoyed it. We're glad that we added that into our stay.
And they did change it up to it's a holiday theme at the holidays.
Definitely.
They just got done with their celebration, the Diamond Celebration, so they've since changed it to the holidays, and then after that it'll change up again once the holidays are over. So yeah, hopefully next year we'll get a chance to see it.
Right.
So we talked about some of our favorite things. Don't want to spend too much time on this, but favorite rides, I love Haunted Mansion. Christmas time, it's amazing. They do, our kids absolutely love it, and I do too. They do an overlay in Space Mountain, so they turned it into Hyperspace Mountain. So it's Star Wars themed, and that when you come around the corner, when it first starts off, and right before anything happens, the beginning of the Star Wars music from the Star Wars theme starts, and it's just, wow. It's just like, the first time I heard that, and you're like sitting in the ride waiting to go, it kind of just put a chill down my spine. I was like, wow, this is so cool.
It is very cool. Super exciting.
Yeah. So if you ever get a chance to do that, hopefully maybe in the future, they'll probably, like, once Star Wars Land opens, they may, have the overlay other than just at the holiday time so that people can experience it. But that is super cool. Those are probably two highlights for us, other than the normal rides we like to go on. But those are just at Christmas time, I guess, that they have those two overlays that are kind of neat. Any rides that you really enjoyed doing besides those two's wake?
Well, I'm kind of I'm the reason that our little list is the roller coaster guy, because I'm definitely a roller coaster lover. So I love California Screamin', and I love the Runaway Train, and I like
Big Thunder Mountain.
Big Thunder Mountain, and the Radiator Springs Racers isn't really a roller coaster, but it's still fast and curvy and all that, all that exciting stuff. So I like that one. I like that one. Actually, really, the cool thing about the Cars Radiator Springs Racers is the area around it, just the way that it's done, so that it reminds you of the movie, and the big wide open spaces and the music, and it all definitely gets you in the Cars Land mood.
Definitely. Okay, so let's go into some of the places we ate at, some of our favorite places, and I'll start off. I guess the first time we were there, we ate downtown Disney, and I'm not going to go into it too much, just that we ate at the Italian place, and I should have done my notes here to write down, because we've eaten there a couple times now, and I can never remember the name of it, but
I think it's Napoli,
yeah, because they have two names for it. One's the quick service where you can get pizza, and then the overall restaurant. But I just want to throw out there, you don't have to get reservations at Disneyland like you have to do at Disney World 3 months ahead of time or 6 months ahead of time.
Right.
I'm not the best at Disney World as far as how all of that works, but with Disneyland, really, you want to get reservations if you know that you want to eat there, but really you can get it a day, 2 days, 3 days ahead of time. And since
actually, well, I'm gonna interrupt you quick. I will say that we this year we ate at Tortilla Joe's, and we were meeting with a friend, and so we needed to make a reservation, and we did discover that you can't make a reservation day of.
correct.
You need to make a reservation. You need to call at least the day prior to make a reservation. But calling the day prior, we got exactly what time we wanted and for the party we wanted. So it wasn't, like he said, you don't need to be calling 6 months in advance to make a reservation.
Right, and you can do that online too. If you go to the Disneyland website, you can make reservations straight at each one of those. It just makes it easier. So, for us, we know we're going to get there. Like we got there at 4 to the hotel. The kids played in the pool, and we just made reservations at 7. That way we walked up, and they are pretty busy. Granted, we were there at a less busy time, so if you're there at a really busy time, it might be even harder to get into. But it definitely makes it a lot easier as far as not having to, especially with little ones, sitting around waiting for an hour or 45 minutes. They do give you buzzer. Did they give you buzzers there, or did they text you?
I don't
No, they text
even
you.
remember.
They text you.
Okay.
So they'll take your phone number and they'll send you a text when your table's ready. So you do have that option, so you can go wander around the shops and whatnot. But if you know kind of roughly when you want to eat, I would definitely recommend doing the reservations downtown Disney. So we ate there, but I'm going to segue and go that my favorite place to eat in all of the parks is, and the thing that we like to do, or at least I like to do in the morning, is to go to Flo's in Cars Land for breakfast. And that sits right next to Radiator Spring Racers, so you can get your breakfast. It's never crowded when we go there in the morning. I mean, it's a very short wait. They have a green chicken tamale and eggs, which I think is just fabulous. And
also seems to fit with the Cars Land, the Southwest cactuses.
Right. And
they've
got the Mickey waffles and everything for the kids and different things, but it's reasonable too, I think. I mean,
I think so too.
From what you hear about, and we both travel a lot, and you look at hotel prices, and if you go to Hawaii, prices in Hawaii, or just any major large city these days, I think that green chicken tamale and eggs thing is like $7.99. I mean, you can't beat that for breakfast.
Right.
So it's reasonable, but the best part is you get to walk outside, sit outside, and you get to watch the Radiator Racers as you're having breakfast in the morning. So that's probably one of my favorite places that we eat at. What about you, Wake?
I like that place. I also like when we've done the parades in years past. We've definitely gone into the Holly Jolly Cafe and gotten grilled cheese and tomato soup, and that's a nice light dinner that's good to eat while you're sitting to wait. Oh, we also like I can never say the name of it, but the Mexican place that's next to Runaway Train.
Big Thunder Mountain.
Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
So I think it might have been the Runaway Train back in the 70s when I was a kid.
So Holly Jolly Bakery is right at the end of Main Street near the castle in Disneyland, and Cafe del Zocalo is the name of
There we go.
Yeah, the Mexican place, which is right next to Big Thunder Mountain. And that's a cool place too, because the kids like Mexican food for us. And you can also go and sit right outside, and they have heaters out there in the winter, so it's not too bad. And you sit there and watch the train go around and around and around as well too. So that's kind of a fun place to kind of people watch the train, and then have a pretty good dinner as well.
Mm-hmm. With lots of choices, lots of options at the Cafe del Zocalo.
Cafe del Zocalo, yeah. So, and kind of our strategy, I think, as we've kind of worked out, and everybody's got different strategies and tastes and whatnot, is we'll get up and have a pretty good breakfast, like at Flo's, and then kind of snack our way around lunchtime, and then we'll get kind of a dinner early, like say like 4:30, and that beats the crowds, which is kind of nice. So it's really easy to eat that way, and that works for us. So
it definitely works for us.
yeah, so kind of 2 meals at the park, and then kind of snacking in between, like breakfast and early dinner, and then maybe a snack at night too, which kind of opens up some of our favorite things we like to get. Like I love getting the hot chocolate there. They have really good hot chocolate, and Alex, our little guy, and I both love splitting the popcorn. And Wake's got some favorite things too. What is it that you like there?
Well, when I was a kid, whenever we would leave Disneyland, so I grew up fairly close to the parks, and back when I was a kid, it was a super easy thing to do, but we would always get a caramel apple on the way out. So that's always a stop that I have to make, to relive the childhood just a little bit. I'm totally blanking on what my other. There's a couple things that I have to do.
Right. Well, the popcorn and the hot chocolate, the caramel apple, and just going to the candy shop is kind of neat on Main Street. They've got different things to select from.
Our kids like the churros. There's churros at every corner.
Oh, yeah. Definitely the churros are good. The one thing we haven't tried, though, is that I've heard is good is the corn dog, which our youngest would love. Our oldest wouldn't, but
no.
I think our youngest would love that.
Yeah, we need to talk you into that next time.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was it. We spent one day when we first got there just kind of hanging around the Grand Californian. Then we did 3 days in the parks and wrapped it up on Saturday and flew home on Saturday. So it was, once again, a really fun, great time to kind of kick back, relax. Like Anawik said, probably like a lot of you out there, your lives are so scheduled so much that it's kind of nice just to go down there and play. And now that we've been down there, this is our 4th year in a row, I guess, going at Christmas time.
Yeah.
We've kind of done everything, so we don't feel pressured to feel like we have to do everything. I mean, there's certain rides that we all want to do and certain experiences that we want to have, but we can kind of fit them in. And if we don't get them in this year,
today, well, right,
we'll probably be back next year. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think next year we're thinking about going in January, though. Hopefully, use some of our DVC points and go in January and stay down there. And it'll be a little bit different, not doing the holidays, but
right.
But maybe it's
January's probably low enough crowds that I would imagine that January is low enough crowds that we'll be able to have a similar experience just without the Christmas trees.
Right. Maybe it's time for a little bit of a change it up so it's not always the same. That's always a good thing too. So, anything else you can think of about our trip that you want to share with anybody?
Nothing specific. No, I think it's just it's just such a great family vacation. Disneyland is a magical place, and it's nice to be in such a kid-driven, kid-friendly environment. It's just good for our family. It's good family memories.
Right. So. Well, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, managing the kids and everything else so that we could sit down here and talk about it. And I want to thank everybody out there for listening. Well, I want to thank you once again for taking the time to listen to my wife and I talk about our latest trip to Disneyland during the holidays. We hope you enjoyed it. And I want to say to all the listeners out there, thank you for listening to us today and in the future and in the past. And I wish you and your families a happy holidays. Once again, the easiest way to get a hold of me, if you would like to, is on Twitter at DCL Podcast. And also I have my Facebook page up and running at DCL Podcast. DCL Podcast as well on the Facebook page. Just go ahead and search it and it should come right on up. And I do the best I can to check that on a regular basis. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions you might have or just any comments in general. So once again, happy holidays, and we will see you in 2017.